Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, we've been having guests on the show give their take on Washington, give their take on their teams, talking a little this and that about what's going on this off season. And this week we have a special guest on the show. This man needs no introduction. He runs the late night. He's also started doing stuff during the days. His breakdown of Washington, and I'm going to send that to you after the show. His breakdown of Washington's last preseason game was on point. I mean, absolutely. Like, I went back there and I was like, oh, snap. Let me write that down real quick. All right, Nate, I see you. Okay. All right. Without further ado, the host of Big Nate Sports Talk, my guy, Mr. Nathan Snell. What up, Nate?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Yeah.
What is up? How you been, man?
It's a beautiful Wednesday. It doesn't feel like one, but it's a beautiful Wednesday. How about y'all?
Oh, yeah. It's been a long
complaints.
one. Oh, yeah. Definitely no complaints. For those of you that don't know, my guy, Nathan Snell, is the host of Big Nate Sports Talk, and where recently you just got finished with the WNBA, the Mystics part of the season, not the full season because they're still in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, and ladies and gentlemen, my guy has been on conference calls. He's been on late game interviews. He even had, at one point, I know he had the coach kind of grit his teeth at him at some question you asked.
Yeah.
But you're still in there. You're still in there talking to him.
Yep.
Yo, shout out to you, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Push him like that.
Oh yeah.
It was a fun season. I was very nervous at first, but there's many people I could think I can't name because I know you guys I don't want to take up any of your time. Helping me and give me the confidence to do what I love other than you guys. So much love to them. So my first season, it's bittersweet. We got swept in the first round, but it's all good.
Oh yeah.
How many years is it since the Mystics won the title?
You with us? Did you freeze?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he froze out. Hold up. All right, Nate, hop back in. While we are waiting for Nate, we are here to talk about the Washington preseason game. We got Anthony Haney in the comments saying, "Oh, look, it's Dinkin and Duncan and Nathan Snell, and then there's Durkin." Okay, Nathan.
I'm gonna need an explanation here. I don't know what he's saying.
So
Spurs up, Anthony.
Right. So on this week in SEC, a couple weeks back, we were talking about old Miss's old defensive coordinator that went to, I believe, Mississippi State, DJ Durkin.
Oh, Maryland coach.
Oh yeah, you know him. I thought that. So I was in the comments, and Anthony was starting to say something about the quarterback was Dinkin and Duncan, and I said, oh yeah, and that defense is solid. Now they got DJ Durkin. And so then he said, oh, it's Dinkin, Duncan, and Durkin. And then it's like, okay. Show went off the rails. There we go.
Yeah. That's a good pickup, though, by Lane. I mean, he let him – of course, Lane Kiffin would let him rehab his image there with him.
Oh, well. Yeah, right. Let's get into this. Washington versus Baltimore, third preseason game. We've talked about the positives and negatives thus far. Obviously, this is going to be – let me see no, not yet.
Looks like he's trying to get in.
All right, keep working with it. Keep coming on with it, Nate. We're gonna be here for you. So yeah, what are you looking for? What, as a matter of fact, while we have them, let's talk about our keys to victory. Let's go, bringing it back, baby. So what are your keys to victories? What are some things that you think that we need to focus on that are going to help us come out of this preseason victorious?
All right. So I'm going to start off with a hot start. Okay.
Yeah.
I read today where Rana said the starters are going to play. You know, yeah. Some teams are just completely shutting it down. It makes sense. It's, preseason game 3 used to be your tune-up, your dress rehearsal, and then you kind of shut it down on game 4. But, now there's only 3. So you kind of figure out, what do we do here? And I think because there's been some problems I think they're going to trot them out there a little bit, which is I'm good with. And then after that, I'm just curious to watch some of these depth guys that we need to see out there, that we need to see make a play. I am going to watch a little bit of Heineke. I'm going to really watch a lot of Howell. This will be fun to watch him. But yeah, so like when it comes to starters, let's just start off hot, and then be done with it. And then I just want to see, can we get some impact players on that defensive line? Who's going to stand out? And are there any DBs out there that make plays? I want to see Percy Butler. I want to see Derek Forrest. And it's kind of saying it all preseason long.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm right there with you. And Nate, I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Are you?
Yep, I'm good. Can you hear me?
You good?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. There's an echo though.
No, I fixed it now. You should be good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, bet. Get that one out. All right, bet. So yeah, honestly, I'm looking Howell. Number one, I definitely want to see what he does. He's going to have more time to get in control of that offense. I just want to see efficiency. He's been doing has been nice, but that last interception to me, just like I said, it wasn't that much pressure. Although he was rushed a little bit, it just looked like he just went 2-step, 3-step drop and just threw it. Wasn't even really paying attention. Those are little things that you got to pick up in the NFL. But it's fundamentals. It's that type of thing, and I think he can do better than that. Honestly, my main thing is running game. I got it. I'm just so excited having a Brian Robinson, and then also having Gibson now with that fire under him. Now, okay, I got to make sure I can keep my position. So I'm really excited to see if we can continue our running game, continue that thing going into the regular season, because I think if we're able to start the regular season with a steady dose of Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, I think that is going to be able to take care of all the injuries we have at tight end and O-line, those type of things. It will be able to kind of mask some of those things in those first couple of weeks with the Jaguars and Lions, who have been perennially bad, but obviously this year we're kind of expecting them to be something. So I want to make sure our running game is consistent. And like you said, that's secondary. I was telling them in training camp. I was talking about them in OTAs. Fuller, yeah, he had a couple after what we saw that first week when they got the early touchdown on him. He did look okay. One of the things you talked about, the rookie,
Butler.
Yes, Butler. One of the things that I've noticed when he's been over there on special teams, they've been talking about a couple times they're like, man, look at him. He is the first one down the field, and he is just screaming down the field. Now, he might not have been making the tackle, but he's making that the returner kind of cut it back and go that way. So I love how Percy Butler is showing that fight, and he's wherever I can get in, let me get in there and do that. And I want to see more of that. This is where I want to see the guys that we picked up, the Holmes and Chris Paul. B-Rob has been doing what he's been doing, obviously. Jahan Dotson. I mean, how many catches did he have a week ago? Maybe one. And I think that's how many he's had all preseason. Okay, maybe our offense isn't patterned to. Maybe it's just, like we've been saying, there's only one ball and a lot of mouths to feed. But I just expected to see something from him outside of just the one catch. So
he's all in for week 1, Sean. It's all right. He's all right. We don't need to give away the secrets yet.
Right. So Nathan, you've been covering us. You've been watching and paying attention to Washington. What are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to going into this game and going into the regular season?
Going into the third preseason game, I would expect Jack Del Rio and the defense had a very lengthy film study. I know some guys definitely had their feelings hurt. And that's not just on Jack Del Rio, that's on the coaches too. But I'm hoping that the defense, you have a better defense than what you had against Kansas City. The offense has been, for the most part, doing well. I don't expect Carson Wentz to be out there in the third game. Typically, by the third game, we already know the starters won't be out there. The third game
he will be. They said he will be playing.
Oh, he
this
will
week.
be. Okay.
The starters will be.
Okay, I haven't been paying. I didn't pay attention to that.
It just got announced like this afternoon. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was
late breaking.
Yeah. Okay, so I missed it. I mean, at this point of the preseason game, like I said in my video, Brian Robinson's now the number one running back. Then it's Antonio Gibson, then maybe JP to get the second spot. The offensive line, for the most part, once they get everybody back healthy, they should be okay. So, I mean, there's still some guys that are making some strong cases to be on the team. I think Ron Rivera may have found a niche in Antonio Gibson as a returner, because he did use him as punishment for fumbling the ball.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just expecting just overall a better game plan and better focus, because the third preseason game, we all know, like, it's your last opportunity to really show like to be on that 53-man roster. I mean, for the most part, I mean, you see the flashes. I just think it's just putting it all together. And you know, I said it, like, it's each preseason game is different. Like, for all I know is that, like, for hypothetically against Kansas City, you would have saw Patrick Mahomes help to like 50 yards in the first half. So anything can happen in the preseason game. So
absolutely.
Would you like me to speak on Baltimore's behalf?
I do, but before you do that, I do want to talk about something that you brought up on your show. Third downs. We talked about it a week ago. We gave up like 11.
Yep.
This week, as you saw, we gave up an exorbitant amount.
6. In the first half, they were 6 in the first half.
Exactly. Wow. And I think altogether we gave up 9 of 15.
9. Yep.
So that's the same problem we've been having a year ago, and it doesn't seem to be fixed. How do we remedy that?
I think first and foremost, I think that Cinco defense that he's had out there, and with all due respect, it doesn't work unless you really have young athletic guys. I think his defensive system, I just don't think you have guys that I don't think know the system. I think the front seven know it, but as far as like corners and the safeties, like on the one play where I think it was Curl that literally left his corner on an island. Like, you got to communicate. But I think a lot of it I think it's system, and I think Jack Del Rio really has to make some changes. I think this is going to be his last year if they're not, and I'm still sticking with my guarantee, at least a top 15, top 20 defense.
Okay.
I really don't know what to expect. So I'm keeping my expect. I'm going in with the an expectation of don't break, don't bend. Mm-hmm. So I think the preseason showed who can thrive in that system and who can't, other than if your name's not Jonathan Allen, Payne, and then obviously Chase Young's not there.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you don't have certain guys like, Collins is gone now, so it's going to take the work for the young guys to adjust to the system. So for the most part, I give it like the first 4 weeks and let's see what it looks like. But I think this is the year, because to be 30th, 31st, and allowing third downs as a defense last year, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that there's a lot of pressure right now on Ron and on Jack Del Rio, like you said, because we're seeing the same things we saw before. And I mean, I think Del Rio is under the gun right now. And I think it's, but the thing I don't know is if you fire him mid-season, who takes over?
Yeah.
Because unlike some other times we've had folks who were former coordinators back to position coaches, I don't know if we have anyone on there that would then be the next person to step up. But I certainly think that Ron and Jack Del Rio are feeling the pressure of the defense struggling. One thing I read, and this was, a little overreaction Sunday, information here, but it kind of makes sense, is tell me why, if you're having the same troubles last year as you did this year as you did last year, tell me why you would re-sign Deron Payne then.
He's your best option. Who else do you have out there that you could sign?
And it's not working though.
I mean,
right now, but this offseason, why bring him back then? If you're seeing the same junk, if the defensive line isn't doing better, why keep the same parts together? Was kind of the question that got posed. And yeah, like I said, it's an overreaction on a Sunday morning after a preseason game, but it's It also makes you think.
Well, and that kind of goes back to front office. It's kind of like, what's the identity? I said that last year and this year. What's the identity that Washington is trying to build? And I think I just don't really see it, honestly. I think it's just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. That's why, when you said that Ron and Jack are at there's pressure, I've also said that there's 50% the players, 50% coaching. And I just think that these guys just don't, I hate to say it, but Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio, they're old school coaches.
Yes.
They just don't, I hate to say it, but a lot of the old school coaches, they just don't vibe with these players today. And I think a lot of it is they're not, both have to be receptive to each other, playing styles, coaching styles. Because you have to learn your coaches, but you have to learn your players. Each one has their strengths and weaknesses. So I think what you're really seeing is you've got some vets, you've got some guys that can lead, but I think there's definitely a disconnect of trusting your players, but more importantly, trusting your coach. That's what I've seen in these two preseason games.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I honestly, for me, I think it's more general. I think it breaks down to complementary football. If you look at the Chiefs offense helped their defense. Their defense helped their special teams, and the cycle kept going. Yep. It feels like it's each individual section is by themselves. The defense is playing on these short fields, but it's because the offense is 3 of 10 on third down and 0 of 1 on fourth. We're not helping them out. Now, part of that might be going back to what you're saying is play calling. You know what I mean? We were running the ball very consistent, and maybe in preseason they're trying to see, okay, what can he do? What would this play look like against them or whatever? But if we're getting off the field, 3 or 4 plays, the D is not getting their proper, breather. And then we're not getting to see what we need to see. The only person that really got some serious time was, like I was saying before, Tress Way.
Right. Tress Way,
250 daggone punt yards in a preseason. I mean, that's not winning football right there. So,
but see, then it goes back to last season. Then, so then you got to go, okay, front office. What are the conversations that Ron, his coaches, that we're having in front office? Because there seems to just be this, Ron can just he can just do whatever he wants. I think he has a little too much power. I think I'm still sticking with my pick. Washington will win 10 games, but I could potentially see Ron Rivera after this season not being the head coach.
Well,
I can see that.
How?
With 10 games?
Is he resigning or are they firing him?
If they don't make the playoffs, they'll fire him.
Dan Snyder doesn't have no money right now.
Yeah.
How's he going to do that? And who's going to come here? I see where you're going with it. Okay, you fire Ron Rivera after 3 seasons. Who are you going to get?
No, yeah, nobody credible is going to want to come.
Another Jay Gruden.
But I mean, like the thing is, if you're seeing a pattern with, okay, what is it about his teams, particularly these last 3 years, that he's not getting?
Yeah,
that's the question. Like, what is it? Like, that's the question. Like, why is it? By year 2, he should have at least been. This team should have been a little bit better. I feel like it's kind of regressed in a sense.
Yeah, I mean they won 7 games of each season, and
last year I think injuries played, but I'm like, go ahead, Will.
Well, I was just gonna say, we do kind of remember Snyder being the guy who fires coaches pretty quickly, but also let's remember since 2009. He's allowed coaches at least 4 or 5 years. Mike Shanahan got 4 years. Jay Gruden got to 5 years. So he has kind of backed off this whole like I'm going to quickly axe you like he did with Marty and with Steve and all that stuff. But I mean I'm with you. It's like one of these like, are we seeing a progression? And that's what Rhonda said. Year 3 is when you should see the blueprint come into action. You really should. And I think in any ways that very first year. Winning the division was more of a curse because they just kind of got lucky that it was a really bad division.
I disagree. I disagree with you. It was a curse. I just think that yes, the division was bad, but
look those at our guys competition that year.
They still, but all 4 teams in the NFC East, they get checks. You gotta go out there and play.
I respect it, but look at the competition we played that
the
year.
Quarterbacks that we beat.
Nick Mullins.
They weren't NFL starters.
As opposed to last year when we
paid.
No. You're not telling me that Nick Mullins and Lamar Jackson are on the same page, bro.
No, absolutely not. I'm just
But that's what I'm saying. If we're playing a Nick Mullins and then backing that up with a DiNucci, yes, we're going to be favored. We're going to have big time, and it's going to make our defense, who was maybe top 15 defense, look like a top 5 defense, as opposed to a year ago when you have injuries that came into play. And then we have, in a 3-week span, Aaron Rodgers. I think we had Aaron Rodgers. We had
didn't you have Tom Brady?
Mahomes. We had Brady. We won the Brady game, but the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and one we played somebody else before that. I mean, it's
I can't remember here, but I know you're talking about
a lineup of teams that it was a struggle.
It was a struggle. But no one was expecting Dak to get hurt, and then no one expected Nick Mullins to be starting. And I'm just saying.
But I'm not saying that they shouldn't win the game. Yeah. You're right. We should win the game when you're up against those guys. But it's hard then to say like we got so hyped over the defense that we got our heads in the clouds, not realizing the defense was going up against Mullins and DiNucci and all these other players when they looked better than they actually were. And I think that could have changed the blueprint of, we don't need a whole lot more to patch this up when there were a lot of leaks and they just didn't fix it. Yeah.
I think
because when we came in there, when we came in last year, and you could see it, we can go back to the footage from a year ago. When we came in last year, we were on high horses. We were all sitting there. If I'm not mistaken, Ab, and you're in the comments, you said that we have a Super Bowl team.
He did.
You know what I mean?
My Washington football team.
But none of us really, chastised them. None of us really chopped him down for that. We were kind of wanting to believe, well, if we had the defense play like we had a year ago, and then hey, Fitzpatrick, which obviously we didn't know that wasn't going to last the daggone quarter. Like if we had those things, yes, we could have. That would have been a great improvement. The fact that we got 7 games a year ago. It's kind of like, were we the same team? Were we on the same plane? Look, at the end of the day, this is the blueprint year. And this is like everybody's saying, I don't think he gets fired after this year because Dan Snyder's got enough to worry about. I don't even think Dan Snyder's look. Oh my goodness.
Why you gotta bring
he got called out.
That's funny.
But look, we know, we know your time is precious. I know.
No, you guys are fine. It's all right.
Look. We got to talk about this game. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, there's going to be a bunch of people at this game.
I heard.
One right here, and one in the comments. Mr. Ab Lowe will also be there at the game. So we're going to try to do something at the game, some kind of live spot or something, where we were doing a little preview, a little back and forth to kind of talk about this. Talk to me about Baltimore, your team, and what are you expecting in this game, and like what's your overview of the how they've been?
Well, we signed DeMarcus Robinson. We made a good amount. We made some cuts. Slade Bolden got hurt, so he's on the injury reserve. We did have someone. I think he came out of Navy. Diego Fargot. He's a linebacker.
Okay.
Jalen Moore got cut. We cut a tackle. Gus Edwards, we put him on the physically unable to perform list. The young guys, man, they've been playing. Isaiah Likely has definitely the preseason MVP. It just in these 2 games. Credit Eric DaCosta for not only finding not only Isaiah Likely but Charlie Kohler. I'm not I'm not really sold right now on Nick Boyle because he came off an injury, but they say he's in great shape. I think those are going to be your 4 tight ends because that single back tight end formation, that's cheese for us. Still having some concerns with the offensive line because Mr. Ronnie Stanley, that's my guy. I love him. But for some unknown painful reason, when we give guys money, they either get hurt or they don't, or they left their game at home, at the hotel, and the car.
Insert Joe Flacco. I'm sorry, man. Hey, I think he's starting now for the Jets.
Well, I think like a few weeks till Zach Wilson comes back. Thank God he did not tear his ACL. Thank God.
Yeah.
But no, I mean for the most part, just the offensive line. I think for right now they're going to have Jawan James play left tackle. Okay. The left guard position for right now is still a battle. I put, like I said in my video, I had Ben Cleveland right now, the number 1 guy, then Ben Powers and Tyree Phillips, who's not really a left guard. Jesus. Yeah, so I mean, for the most part, it's just really the left guard position. But we did cut some corners. Kavon Seymour, I think we cut him finally. It's going to be interesting for the defensive backs. Yeah. We're definitely going to be. I have 3 words for that comment, but I'm keeping that to myself.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you this, man. I was so excited because I was looking at your depth chart beforehand, and I have Mark Andrews in a keeper league, and I decided to keep him in the 3rd round. And I was like, man, because I've also heard that his numbers may go down, and so, but I did. I looked at your wide receivers and say, I gotta keep this guy. Who's going to catch the ball in Baltimore?
I don't really understand this whole, like, you act like there's no receivers in Baltimore. I don't think you need a Randy Moss or a T.O. or a Devontae Adams to be a sexy offense.
Well, enlighten us on who outside of Rashad Bateman you have.
James Poche, Tylan Wallace, Devin Duvernay, who's an all-pro. Then you have DeMarcus Robinson. What was the other kid's name? Well, we cut Jalen Moore. Slade Bolden got hurt. We had someone named Billy Gaither. But again, I've said this. I don't know how many times I'm going to keep saying it. Baltimore, ever since we came here, ever since the team started in '96, Baltimore's always been a power first run football team. Yeah. That's never going to change. That's always been the Baltimore Ravens philosophy.
So does that mean you don't go out and get a top?
You guys always had a legit receiver. Like you had Steve Smith for a while there. Like you always had somebody.
Torrey Smith, Anquan Bolden, Derek Mason.
I mean, are you excited about this wide receiver core?
I'm confident in it. I think they. Okay. I think
confident and excited are 2 different words.
Confident. I'm fine. I think they are motivated for this year. I just don't think you need a Devontae Adams or a Tyreek Hill to make your offense look sexy.
I mean, like I said, I got Andrews on my fantasy team, so I'm okay with you just going and I may be drafting Lamar. So if I'm getting every touchdown the Ravens have, I'm okay with that. But I was looking at that going, huh.
And then I think also too, people just gloss over the fact that we dealt with injuries last year. I mean, to the point where you didn't really have your full healthy running game. You know, Mark Andrews was pretty much the guy. You know, the wide receiver you did draft was never happy in being here in the first place, even though people ignore that he did have a season high drops every year, but people ignore that. Baltimore does. No, we good.
It's Ab saying like with Washington ignoring our linebacker deficiencies. Yeah.
I like our receivers. I just don't think you need a sexy receiver to be this elite offense. You don't need to be a Kansas City offense. You don't need to be Buffalo. You don't need to be those kind of offenses.
Well, let me ask you this. Where do you rank your receiving core?
Rank it?
Are you top 15? The league? Yeah.
Top 20.
Oof. Okay. Well, look, we can go on this all day long. As you see, the people in the comments seem to be jumping on this. Let's talk about this game coming up. Let's talk about this. First of all, y'all won last week, right? Or this past week, right?
Yes, we did.
So you are still undefeated in preseason, the Baltimore Ravens. How do you feel personally that you're going to take your first loss live with me there? Let's go. Bang, bang. Nathan's not going to sit with me.
This is y'all, you Washington, man. I tell you. No, I mean, in all seriousness, you really got to credit the coaching staff and how they prepare the guys day in and day out. This year, we've taken a better approach with how we practice. And I could see that in the progress that I'm hearing from training camp. We did have some small injuries, guys going a little too hard on the practice field, but they'll be back in a week or so. But it's just the level of being prepared, being motivated, and I think everybody's got something to play for this year. Yeah. Like last year being 8-3, that was fool's gold, and everybody laughed at me and were like, "How could you be 8-3 and not make the playoffs?" The team was held with tape and glue. Like, even if we did make the playoffs, we'd have lost in the first round. Like, I think this year everybody's motivated and to play with something, and then also too, you've got practically everybody back healthy. Like, I was expecting Marcus Peters to be out there this early. Like Calais Campbell, he contemplated retiring, but he's motivated. Like, I just think that the team as a whole, they're motivated and they're all playing for something. So credit John Harbaugh and the coaching staff for just getting the guys ready.
Yeah. But for this week, what are you expecting? Like, are you expecting to see your starters? Or are you expecting just to see rookies? Or what are you looking at?
I think it's going to be the same way it was before. Because he didn't have most of the vets out there last game. So
it's the Tyler Huntley show?
Most likely, yes. I'll say the Tyler Huntley show.
I'll take that.
If you do have some vets out there, you're probably going to have for like a couple drives, and then that's it.
But definitely no Lamar.
No.
Okay. And speaking of that, what is the progress? Like, where are we at with that? Will he get signed before the season, or what? Well, do you know what's stopping him? Because we know he's his own agent. So what's the holdup? Is he gonna wait?
I think he's focused. He's made it clear that he wants to win a Super Bowl. Eric DeCosta said it in the press conference in the exit interview that they're waiting at the table. I've heard that because of what that guy in Cleveland with that guaranteed money, that kind of threw a wrench in the thing. But Steve Bisciotti said that's not an issue. They want to pay him. I don't really. I'm not worried. I think they will get some. There will be an agreement. And even Lamar said it on the sideline interview. Like, he's not listening to that. But I think Baltimore they did give him an offer last season, and it was, according to Quadri Ismail, it was a generational wealth type deal.
Yeah.
And he just turned it down. So I don't know what it was. No. So I think I think Joe Flacco did the same thing too. He's taking a chance on himself. So yeah, they'll sign him.
Yeah.
So all right, so preseason game 3, when we're playing the Ravens, this is where you get a chance to see your depth. All right. And the Ravens are the very best drafters out there. You said it earlier about the cost of finding players. Who from this year's draft class are you looking to see, not just on Saturday, but throughout the year? Someone that, besides just maybe a first or second round pick, you're like, and maybe it is one of those where you're like, I'm excited for this guy.
Kyle Hamilton is one. Lindenbaum. His fun fact, we hadn't drafted center since I want to say we drafted Jeff Mitchell or Mike Flynn.
Come on.
Travis Jones, I definitely think has shown flashes of definitely what he could be. You all know Ajobo's out for the year, but
really?
Got hurt in pro day.
Yeah. He tore his
Well, I remember that. I didn't know he was out for the year. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Isaiah Likely, Kohler. I want to see how those two behind Mark Andrews will look like. I mean, those are my guys at the moment I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm also looking to see Mr. Jordan Stout. The punter.
You're excited about a punter?
Yes, I am.
What?
He looks pretty good. I'm kind of like, maybe we made the right pick instead of not getting the guy Buffalo drafted.
No, not the punt god. No, Matt Ariza is amazing. And look, I don't know how are you focused on anything that's any other kicker on your team that's not your guy, not the GOAT, if you will.
Singer.
Yeah. Tucker is the greatest thing kicking. Let's
it's a new day because Sam Cook was with us since 2006. He was technically the oldest person on the team. So like those are some big shoes to fill. Like I think he's held for Matt Stover, Cundiff. He's held for a couple kickers before he retired. So those are some big shoes to fill. So if you can't hold the ball for Justin Tucker, it's going to be a long season for you. But he'll be okay. So those are my guys I'm looking forward to seeing. But overall, I'm looking for just a healthy roster that clearly is motivated, focused, and ready to get back to work. So
done.
What you think of Colin's comment?
Wow.
No comment.
No comment. Wow. Too early to see.
It's a Bucky Brooks comment right there. Oh, off the camera. This guy. Wow.
Internet trouble?
No, he did. I'm sure he did this on his own. Listen, look.
Juan Soto.
You're gonna deal with comments like this all year, buddy. Let's go.
I do think it's going to be interesting to see if, like you're saying, if it's time to pay up here, is for the team and him to do a little bit of assessing. I mean, they did ship out the malcontent, and send him to Arizona for both the organization and the players. Say, if he won a championship, are we the right combination to get it done? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe, like you said, maybe they just need one or two extra players. I mean, they draft so well, so maybe it's just like, let's just stay the course. We're getting there.
Yep.
Now, this is where, on the flip side, this is where I kind of go back to some of the things you've been saying, Nate, is that even if he wins the title, it's going to be pushed back again. Like, oh, well, let's see what happens now. I would just hate for this to be a situation like Dak Prescott, where he plays in that 5th year, gets hurt, and then all of a sudden now he's waiting until the very last minute till they decide to pay. Like now, in my mind, Lamar is better than him as far as player wise. I think Dak did that system is a little more pass heavy, but Lamar is definitely, unanimous MVP, one of the only 2 people to do that. So I honestly think it's one of those things. I mean, I just want him to get paid and get that thing done. And I get what's going on with the whole background, and we're ready at the table and this and that, but let's just get it done. Let's get this thing paid and so we can go. Because you waiting for a Super Bowl, there's just too much that comes into play for a Super Bowl. You need more than just a stud. A lot of teams it's just the pieces, the right pieces come together with the right coaching and everything like that. So, young man, get your money. Get your money, man, because, tomorrow's not promised. The least you can do right now is take care of that family and do all that stuff around there. So,
I think he and the Ravens will do that. I just think it's going to be on their time, not on what people like Colin or the media got to say. Not on the media's time. It's on Lamar and the Ravens' time. So no disrespect intended, Colin.
So let me ask you this: Week 1, you're going out there, first game of the year, and he's still not paid. Are you at all nervous?
No, I'm not. Can you say that for any other quarterback?
I don't think you need to be either. If he's focusing on the season.
The Cardinals didn't pay Kyler Murray. Are you going to say that same question?
Well, Kyler sat out half the year. He was injured half the year last year, and they still paid him. So I think they're still going to.
So Week 1, are you going to say that? Make that ask the same question?
I don't ask no, because I don't think Kyler is as good as Lamar.
Okay.
And you know that, so that's not even retorting back with it. Like, I think Lamar is otherworldly talent, and that.
No, what I'm saying is just like, I'm just saying, like that, like no other quarterback gets those kind of like. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying these are the type of things that Lamar has to deal with. Well, if he goes out there Week 1.
He's also every other quarterback also has an agent, and every other quarterback also has gone into that and gotten that taken care of. The only reason why we're talking about this, and we're coming to you because you're the insider, because he is his own, he's his own agent. And I mean, we've seen only other information we have is from the Ravens, and the Ravens are saying, "Oh, we're sitting here at the table." So it's kind of that's why we're asking. It's like makes you wonder, well, what is stopping you?
Right.
That's what it is. But look, we're not going to go on any more Lamar. I understand. I might have touched the nerve, and I apologize for that.
No, you're fine.
Let's talk about this game coming up. The 3rd preseason game. Last look at our team before the regular season starts. That's where my mind is. I'm already deep down into the season. What are your thoughts, Nate? What do you think the score will be, and who takes the W?
27-18 Baltimore.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Will, what you got, man?
23-20, game-winning field goal. Ravens win.
Oh,
the streak continues.
No, no. 27-24. I'm doubling down. Sam Howell comes in late. Gets 2 late touchdowns and gets the W. Washington, in my game where I'm there with Ab and my guy Nathan, we get the W. Let's go.
And then let me ask you this. Who is going to, at quarterback, is Huntley going to play the whole game or are they going to bring him out?
No, they'll probably have the same like they had the last couple games they had before he got cut. They had Brent Huntley, Anthony Brown, and Huntley. So you're going to see Huntley and Anthony Brown share some possessions, and they both, honestly, truthfully, they have been balling. Huntley especially.
Huntley has, yeah.
Anthony Brown, you actually could find some value for him, honestly.
Is that guy from Oregon? Yeah,
he is. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, I think I've seen him play a little bit, but yeah, okay. I like that. So,
And also, I hope Derek Wolf is okay. We did back in June terminate his contract. It was an injury settlement. There was some pushback because there was a picture of him on Instagram after getting back surgery. He literally he was hunting in the woods, and he had a big black bear posted on his shoulder. Yeah. And people were like,
back injury, right?
Back injury. Okay. What's going on here? That's hilarious.
So,
oh man, I can dig it. Well, look, do you have anything going on tonight, tomorrow morning? Like, what are some things we can look forward to from Big Nate Sports Talk?
No videos tonight. I had the 2 videos that went up earlier today. Really waiting for who advances to round 2 for the WNBA playoffs, and then just get ready for week 1 of the NFL season.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.